of Stress Solutions University, and welcome to A Conqueror's Mindset. On A Conqueror's Mindset, it's our desire to remind you of specific attributes, character traits that you have to help you overcome, no matter what surrounds you. So I'm very, very excited to have Eileen Forlenza and Holly Forlenza and Ashley with us today. When I saw them get on stage, I was transformed by their story. And I instantly thought, this is what A Conqueror's Mindset is all about. We're talking about one of the most important aspects of being a human being, how to love, and how to use love to move you through the most difficult times in life. And so, Eileen, can you just share with us just a little bit about your journey and how you got to do what you're doing in this world with Holly?
Holly was born in a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby girl, and but we soon realized that Holly was having some challenges that we came to understand were going to be lifelong. And so Holly was diagnosed at age 2 with severe, profound mental retardation. That's the actual official medical diagnosis. And the interesting thing about that diagnosis was it was at her 2-year checkup, and I had a 3-year-old with me, and it was on my due date for my 3rd child, Cody. I left the hospital that day knowing that I would be having a baby soon, but what I didn't expect was that within 6 months I was on my own as a single parent. And so I had a newborn, and Holly as a 2-year-old who wasn't walking and didn't have a lot of the early childhood skills just yet, and a 3-year-old. And so Holly and my other kids, Emily and Cody and I, we started a journey of self-reliance, self-dependence, and interdependence with each other. 5 years later, was gifted with the marriage of my best friend Scott, and then we had a child of our own, Michael. So together as a family, the 6 of us, we have decided that our mission was to talk about how difference, in this case having a kiddo with an intellectual disability, could really bring goodness and wellness and love into our life in a way that some people find that to be an unusual journey. In that quest, we take Holly everywhere we go. We're just a family like everybody else. And about 2 years ago, I was at a conference with Holly, and there was a professor in the audience who saw some things in Holly that we did not know. And she indicated that she believed that Holly had some literacy skills. So within a week, we met with her again, and with the simple use of a keyboard and an iPad, that particular expert professor, Dr. Christy Casa, worked with Holly and pulled literacy out of her within minutes. So what that told us was that all along, Holly had all of that with her, and all of that within inside of her. And one of the very first things Holly typed to us was how important love is, how much she loves her family, and above all things, no more grape jelly. What we learned was that Holly had preferences, Holly had a sense of humor, Holly loves to laugh, and so within a few months we were living with a young woman that we didn't realize had so many layers, and Holly taught us immediately about the power of love. She typed a year ago, in November of 2012, Holly typed for us, again, on a simple keyboard and an iPad. At the age of 22, she typed, "I want a platform to teach about love." And so we made a promise to her at that time as a family that we would do everything we could to give her that platform.
Which when Holly came up on stage, and she was so expressive with all of her love, and there wasn't any holding back. And as adults, particularly as adults, we get so stiff because of the drug of approval and worrying about what other people will think, and it holds us back from resurrecting to the front lines our God-given natural state, which is free and playful and confident and courageous, and as Holly did, just getting up in front of everybody on stage. Can you share with us a specific time that can help the listeners and those people that are watching this today, that you really felt it was the dark night of the soul experience, and you moved through it with love? And
absolutely.
You got through it. And I'd love to hear what Holly has to say, too.
So I'm thinking Holly, do you want to answer now?
And that's when she shared the second one.
Okay, so Holly's already answered that question if you want to hear her answer.
I do. I do.
We asked Holly that question to prepare her for today because she typically doesn't type on demand. She needs some time to think. And her answer was,
She said, I remember people calling me retarded from the day I was born. One time, I pushed a person over for saying it. That is what Holly had to share with us.
wow. One of the dark moments that Holly and I went through together was when she was 7, we were seeking some medical diagnosis. We had no idea what was going on. Our biggest challenge was that Holly had 150 seizures a day.
I remember you
Which
sharing
means
that.
about every 2 minutes she was going down. And
they're not small, petite.
no. So
Small
they are drop
seizures.
seizures, which are like, they take over both sides of the brain. We know that through her scans. So it's like taking a light switch and turning it off. So she just falls wherever she is and then has the convulsions. And so every 2.5 minutes in every waking day, she's going down. And it's hard. We're also noticing, again, there's no language, so she's nonverbal. She's having struggles with a lot of her developmental milestones. So we went to Texas Children's Hospital. They had a grant for a particular research project they were working on. And there was a lot of buildup. There was TV and radio coverage about this young, beautiful young girl who was coming to Texas to find out what was going on. And within 30 minutes in that genetics clinics, we were told that we could leave. That they felt by observation that she did not have this particular, what we thought was Angelman syndrome, which is a genetic disorder. I felt so let down. I felt so empty, and all I wanted was an answer so that I could treat the seizures. And my response was, or my motivation was, if you're sniffling and you think you have a cold, but it's really allergies, it's not going to work. So we got to figure out what are we going to do to help her with these seizures. I remember distinctly sitting in the car in Houston, in the rental car. And you know, in Texas, or in any humid state, you can't really feel the sunshine, you just feel heat.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Absolutely.
in Colorado, you can feel
Yes.
an array of sunshine.
Yes.
So I'm sitting in the car and I feel this heat and this ray of heat on my chest. And I thought it might have been my jewelry or my zipper or something. And I was suddenly overcome with this peace of God's presence.
Wow.
And it's something I'll never ever forget. And Holly's in the back seat, and we have this sense of loss, and yet in that very moment, God's presence was so strong. And if I've ever heard the word of God audible, this is what I heard. And that was, you don't need to know why, you need to know how.
Wow.
And in that moment, I let go of needing to understand. And just what you said earlier, Lauren, this is her natural state. God intended her to live this way. This is it. This is it.
Yes.
There is nothing wrong with her.
Yeah.
We're not going to find anything in her genetic code. There is nothing dysfunctional about her presentation. She is presented in all of God's image right here, right now.
Perfectly. Perfectly and wonderfully made.
That's it.
That one statement keeps people stuck. I need to know why things happened as they did.
Right.
As well as the other statement is how things are going to turn out. Am I going to be safe? Am I going to be able to handle this? How is this going to work together for an ultimate good in the end? And so what do you have to help people get unstuck from that needing to know, why did this happen to me? I can't.
So earlier when Holly was asked that, and she made more to say, she said, I would tell them to remember that love is the most important thing. And that's what she had to share.
That's it.
Love is the most important thing.
And I would,
You said that.
I would add that one of my favorite scriptures is perfect love casts out all fear. How does love carry people through that dark, stuck feeling? How does it come alive in their hearts to move them through, as it did for you? You physically felt the love of God, I believe, in that moment. And it was God reaching out and touching you with the warmth of His love, assuring you, you don't need to know why, you just need to know how.
Right.
what advice can you give just from your journey, because you've had plenty of Earth School training, and that's to help people that are feeling stuck?
To know that you're a masterpiece in the eyes of God. And it doesn't matter what sometimes the frame in which your masterpiece is framed can get a little broken.
Yeah.
Sometimes the glass gets shattered. And sometimes your masterpiece, the actual painting, fades, but the masterpiece is never gone.
That's beautiful.
And so to know that you don't need to know the last chapter of the book. Just turn one page at a time. And knowing that this day, this is the day that the Lord hath made. This is the day. This is the day.
Yes.
And tomorrow's the other day, and tomorrow's the next day. Live your life as that reflection to say, I got through today because I am a masterpiece. My frame is broken. I've been through divorce. I know what that feels like.
Yes.
I know what it feels like to not know why or even how sometimes. But it's knowing that God, there's no greater power than love. And love is the manifestation of God. And so when you put your faith in God and in love, you can get through it all. God doesn't promise healing here on earth. God promises healing in our journey. And so it may not end up the way that we think it's supposed to end up, but there are lessons about love in all of that, in all of that.
We haven't even talked about the song. Can you share about how this song came about in the eye of the storm as Holly's resurrecting her voice and literally unleashed to speak her truth, her simple truth, to remind humanity of the true reason of why you matter. Why do you matter?
Yeah, the song has just been an incredible manifestation.
Love is pleasing to God, pleasing to God. That
He
is
will
it.
hear your voice to sing you home when you're through. Hallelujah, He'll sing you home.